Well, hey, good evening, everybody. Uh, Welcome to our second Cookout with Crum. I'm going to be taking your campaign questions. For those of you that just may be joining us, if you don't know, I am Stephen Crum. I am running for the State House in District 98, which is the north half of Hayesville, and then it goes up into kind of southeast Wichita. If you go the northeast corner, you'd be at my K-15 in Pawnee. So it's quite a diverse district. It has three city limits in it with Hayesville and Wichita. It has some Sedgwick County addresses in there, and then it also covers the most of the Hayesville School District, some of the Derby School District, and some of the Wichita School District. Um, so I was the representative in 2017, 2018. I felt like I did a lot of good work up there. I had a lot of fun while I worked up there too. It was hard work. It was stressful, but it was something that I really enjoyed doing. I feel like we accomplished a lot then, and I really feel like the last couple of years, not much has been happening up there, and I know that I've been disappointed in the representation District 98's had, and I want to get back up there and change that. Just kind of give you an update. I am cooking tonight while we're going to talk, so send in your questions here on Facebook. You can also send me questions on Twitter. My handle on Twitter is at SteveCrum1, and that's the digit 1. Um, Instagram, my same message on there too. Uh, and you can even shoot me an email if you want at crumforkansas@gmail.com. Got people checking out the questions, and we can go as we're just go along and do the questions as we're going. I am cooking tonight. I am mostly cooking for my parents again. That's what I did last time. Uh, they've been staying in a lot because of COVID-19. So Dad doesn't grill much, so they've asked me to grill some stuff for them. So that's what I've done. Last time I did pork chops, hamburgers, turkey burgers, and brats. I'm doing hamburgers, turkey burgers, and brats today. They still have pork chops left from last time. So, oh yes, and I'm gonna grill some zucchini later. This is gonna be the grand I don't know, the opening thing of me ever cooking vegetables on my grill, and they're actually vegetables that we grew. Um, we have some plants out here. We have a zucchini plant, a cucumber plant, two strawberry plants, um, three tomato plants, and two different kinds of jalapeno plants. But I'm going to go ahead and put the hamburgers on for them. For those of you that have never done this before, if you get a inexpensive ice scraper that's got kind of the soft plastic, if you heat your grill up with a new one of those, you can run it down the grooves on your grill, and you're going to have a cleaner for your grill, a scraper for your grill that's going to fit right on your grill all the time. So, highly recommend that. Okay, so the hamburgers I just cook in with, I put in some dry onion soup and put some other seasonings just on them. Uh, and I mix them up, and then we're going to put them on here. This grill was a gift from my family for, I honestly don't remember now if it was for a birthday or if it was for Father's Day. But I know that I've been using it a lot, especially since COVID. I've been cooking out. I probably use the grill at least twice a week. Um,
You have a suggestion.
I have a suggestion. What's my suggestion?
Yes. Patrick Holmes suggests that you have Tom Collins as a benefit.
Well, hi, Patrick. First off, welcome. I don't know if you know, but I'm a fan. Uh,
Holmes, not Holmes.
oh, when when I uh, when I marinate uh, my pork chops and steaks, I tend to use more liquids when I marinate that. I don't do that with like hamburgers and turkey burgers because if you've ever tried to marinate with a liquid, even like tomato, yeah, even if it's like barbecue sauce, they're really hard to make patties into. So I usually use dry mixes with hamburgers and turkey burgers, but I'll think about using that when I'm doing pork chops and steaks and things like that. So when I do try to just get them, I try to flip them a lot. I don't try to do half and half. I don't do like 5 minutes on one side and 5 minutes on the other side. I think you get a better, you get more flavor, and you get a better uh, finished product with the with the actual cooking it through when you turn it over 4 or 5 different times. Uh, Stuff going on. I tell you what, I'm out here. Here I am cooking food out here, and one huge issue we have in this state is our food sales taxes, like the highest in the country, next to the highest. And I know right now during COVID, there's talk about how we're really going to struggle with some tax dollars coming in, and it'd be a tough time to just quit having food sales tax. My goal would be to start phasing it out. So we would give a reduction of say 2%, and hopefully that wouldn't be too big of a hit. But one of the first things I'd also want to do is make farm and art markets with homegrown vegetables and fruits, make them tax exempt. So if you bought anything like that, fresh produce from locally grown vegetables and fruits and things like that, you wouldn't have to pay tax on that. That's one thing I'd really like to see done, and I think maybe we have a question.
You do. Actually, Patrick Holmes also wants to know where did you soak your meat in cider?
I have never soaked my meat in cider. Um, I use a lot of barbecue sauce. I use Worcestershire sauce. I use smoked sauce. I use different brands of barbecue sauce. I've been known to use wine. I've been known to use beer, lemon juice, lime juice. It sort of depends on what kind of mood I'm in, but I have never tried that. One thing that I always try to put in my steaks and my pork chops when we do is a little bit of just when you buy store-bought jalapenos in the glass jars. I always save that juice that the jalapenos are in. That always adds just a little bit of a kick to those steaks or those pork chops. So that's a handy little tidbit you might take. Again, guys, when I'm doing this, I'm mostly just to talk about my campaign and different policies and stuff. I'm not doing this because I'm an expert cook. I do like the ideas, though, of people giving me ideas. Like I said, tonight, my daughter and my wife's big idea to cook the zucchini, so we're going to see how that ends up going. Um, I did not prepare the zucchini. I left that to my wife, which my wife, Paige, is running some of the technical stuff for me tonight. And she's doing some of the questions. And my daughter, who is in Massachusetts, is also kind of keeping track of different questions. And they're communicating over the phone while we're doing this. Again, running for District 98, the primary. I am running for the Democratic ticket, and I do have a primary this year. So if you're a registered Democrat in District 98, I need you to get out and either vote early, which you can do right now at the old courthouse. You can also mail in a absentee ballot still. Beginning this coming weekend, there's going to be some satellite locations open to vote. You can find the satellite location and the location where you can vote right now on my Facebook page. You can also find it at the Sedgwick County Election Office. And then on the 4th, there's about 8 different locations that District 98 people vote, and I'll have that list out on my page shortly. And that's for voting in person on August 4th. And again, I'm wanting to do this because I want to represent you guys. I will say that you need somebody up there that's going to let you know what they're doing. They try to communicate, do stuff like this. One thing I can tell you right now is we just had to have what's called, unfortunately, and I think this is a huge issue in pretty much all campaignings, no matter what the race is. Money is way too important when you're running for office. We just had to have a financial report turned in to the Secretary of State's office, and the Secretary of State's office then they report that on their page. So if you're interested to see who somebody might be getting support from, you can go to that page and look up the financial reports and look. And like right now, I can tell you that Miss Brewer, who is running against me in the primary, she has received some from a couple of individuals, and no groups, just individuals have given her some campaign contributions. Um, I will say that Ron Howard, who is the current representative, he has about maybe 20, and all but 4 of them are from PACs. And they are PACs such as the Koch brothers, um, a lot of large businesses, a lot of bankers. There's only 4 individuals, and those individuals all happen to be related to another Republican representative. So just look at those. On the other hand, I've gotten over 80 contributions since January. I don't know what the average of that contribution is. I do have one union that has given to me, AFL-CIO, I believe, union, that gave me one donation of $500. All the rest of them are individuals. And that's because I want to get up there and I want to represent the individuals. So, I'm going to leave the lid down on this for a couple of minutes. We have a question.
We have a question to explain where District 98 is, and you need to repeat the question.
Okay, where District 98 is. First off, if you get on my Facebook page, you're going to look at pictures. You're going to find a picture of it. It's the north half of Hayesville, from basically Meridian all the way out to Clifton, which is just past the bridge. If you're going on well, actually, from here you got to go all the way to Hydraulic, and then it goes to Hydraulic to the river, and then it follows the river around until you get to 63rd Street and Clifton right there. It runs straight up Meridian to 55th, 47th Street, and then it cuts over, and then it goes all the way over to Hydraulic, and then it kind of makes a chimney all the way up to Pawnee, basically. And you get to Pawnee, and you go all the way over to K15. It's kind of an odd-shaped district, which is also something that's important about this election coming up. Hayesville used to be in one district because they're what's called a voting block with similar needs or wants, and you're not really supposed to break those up when you don't have to. 10 years ago, when they did it, they kind of gerrymandered around, and Hayesville got cut in half. This election is going to determine what groups may be involved in coming up with what the districts are going to look like for the next 10 years. So I think it's very important that we get, like I have Oaklawn area right now, which is very similar, but when you start going way up into Wichita, I'd rather see, like, instead of going all the way up to Pawnee, maybe only going up to 47th Street and having the entire city of Hayesville and over to the river instead of going so far southeast to the northeast for me. But the people in the northeast still have a lot in common with us. A lot of people in the school districts. I'm a teacher, and I think it's important that everybody's getting represented correctly. Another question.
Does the census have anything to do with with how things are districted? You need to repeat the question.
Does the census have anything to do with how the district gets redistricted? The way they break the districts up is by population. So the answer to that question is yes, and that's why they redistrict every 10 years. So if an area has grown by a lot, then that's one reason you redistrict, is so that you have it so that one district doesn't have, 20,000 people in it, another district only has 12. So yes, you use that to break up your districts. Honestly, if you have small change, usually in an urban area like this, if you do have changes, they're going to be relatively small changes. You sometimes see larger changes out in the rural areas out in western Kansas where it's not quite as densely populated. So, and their areas are much bigger for their districts because it takes a bigger area to get more people. So, yes, the census will make a difference on that.
Why should they fill out the census?
Why should you fill out the census? Everybody needs to fill that out because that determines how much money your community gets, how much money your county gets, how much money your state gets from different levels. It's all based on that. So you want everybody that lives in your community to make sure that they fill that out. Even if they are an undocumented immigrant, they still fill it out. And they need to fill it out because they need to be counted in the community. If you're somebody who thinks, well, they shouldn't be because they shouldn't be counted because they're not a citizen, you're taking money away from your community because they're often working in your community and paying taxes anyway, uh, and they are having to use some of the they're driving on your streets perhaps, or using your library, things like that. You need to get money for that. They need to be counted too. So we need to make sure everybody's counted. It makes a huge difference for money that comes in from the federal government uh, for states and counties and cities. So it's really important.
Okay, we have a question from Austin Buckner, and he has asked this twice. Can you ask him if this is the couch auction? Do I know what that means?
I do not, Austin. I do not know what a couch auction is. I had Austin ask if this is the couch auction. This is called Cookout for Crum, and unfortunately, I don't have a couch out here. Um, so if that's what you're looking for, I'm sorry to tell you this isn't it. But you're more than welcome to stay and listen and watch me cook and talk about my policies that I'd like to implement or help implement in Topeka. And I think our hamburger is just about done.
Okay, we have more questions.
Okay.
What office are you running for, and how does that affect the individuals here in District 98 personally?
What office am I running for, and what kind of impact does that office hold on District 98? I am. Where's that office? It's got rock on it, please. I'm running for the State House of Representatives in Kansas to be in Topeka. There's 125 districts. This is District 98. It is a 2-year term. And I basically, in the legislature, we debate, listen about all different kinds of things, and we set some of the laws, we set some of the state policies. We also determine how a lot of the state tax dollars are spent. Um, so if you have somebody there that's really representing you, like I want to do, is I'm going to get down there and I'm going to focus on things that will hopefully help us here in South Central Kansas and Wichita, Hayesville, Derby area, uh, trying to diversify uh, our job base so that we don't have to rely so heavily on aircraft. Aircraft has done so many good things for our area for so long, but we also know that sometimes there's down times, and when that happens, that really hurts our economy. We got a lot of people that are out of work. We need to find other things that take those same skills so that we're not just reliant on just the aircraft industry. So that's one thing I would work at, is trying to diversify what kind of jobs we can get here in District 98 and how to help us get back to work and get our economy moving again. That's the hamburgers. And
Austin says thank you.
no problem, Austin. Take it easy.
And it's facing the wrong direction.
I'm going to hand you the hamburgers, dear.
But you're going to face this.
And the turkey burgers are in the fridge. Okay, we're going to swap out. I'm going to get turkey burgers out here. I'm going to go ahead and put some brats on. You can tell I really take a long time preparing the brats. I'm going to go ahead and have these on the back of the grill while we're cooking. So I talked about diversifying the workforce. That's really important. Let's talk a little bit about schools opening up. I know Wichita, Derby, and Hayesville school districts, the three that I would be representing, have all opted for the start after Labor Day. I'm not sure on the dates that students are starting back. I know in Hayesville it's the 10th. The teachers come in on the 1st. Not sure how that's going to work at Wichita and Derby right now, but I am the chief negotiator for the teachers here in Hayesville. So I can say that Hayesville's been planning on this, and a lot of the districts were making some plans because we knew with COVID that we're living in a whole different world here, and we have to be ready to change the way we do. A lot of places are giving you an option if you want to do in school or if you want to do remote learning. I know some of the districts are even doing a hybrid where you can do both. Like at high school, there's some classes that you just can't do online. You can't do it remotely. So they're making it so that you can do remote classes and then come into school and do those classes that you can't do remotely. That way you're not there all the time if you don't wish to be. And the county's been good help with that as far as CARES money to help districts maybe get uh, get computers and things for kids to use. I'm going to put on some turkey burgers now, kind of the same thing. Actually, with the hamburgers, I use the beefy onion dried soup, and with the turkey burgers, I use just the onion soup. So, and then some other seasoning that I add to it. Again, I'm cooking these up for my parents, who are both perhaps watching this evening. So, tell them hi. They're doing well. And one other thing I want to make sure and wish Tim Norton a happy birthday today. Tim's been a great supporter of mine. Most of you would know him from his days as a county commissioner. Right now, he's the executive director of the Airplane Museum out by McConnell. And today's his birthday. Just want to wish him a happy birthday. I guess about a month ago, I had a fun event with him. Those of you from Hayesville might know he does the readathon at the library every year, and he reads The Raven at midnight. That usually wraps up the readathon. Didn't get to do that this year because of COVID, so he came on and we did kind of an answer and question thing one evening for about an hour, and then he read The Raven at the end of that. I'm kind of hoping I'm going to do something else with Tim, so you might keep an eye out for that. That'll probably be sometime in late September or sometime in October.
Do you have a question?
I have a question again?
How many burgers are you making, and is it harder to grill more or less? Fewer, actually. Repeat the question.
Somebody's asking me if it's hard to grill, and how many I'm grilling, and if it makes a difference how many as far as making it harder or not. As far as the number, making it harder or not really. What really does, it's good when you're going to cook a lot like this, because I'm having to use the same amount of gas in my grill whether I'm cooking 2 hamburgers or 12 hamburgers. So, and I do have a big grill, so I get a lot of stuff on here. I believe tonight I made 12 hamburgers. I am cooking 10 turkey burgers. I've got 12 brats that I'm cooking for them. Then when we get done with this, I've got 12 more brats that I'm going to cook for Paige and I, and 1 zucchini. So that's how many I'm cooking tonight. That'll get them through about a month worth of stuff, because they don't eat them every night. But that way they put them in the freezer, and Mom and Dad break them out when they want to eat something that's been grilled. So that's what I'm doing. I've been kind of disappointed in some of the. I've been kind of disappointed in some of the reactions to some of the plans the governor would like to put in place for COVID. I know a lot of people think it was too quick to shut down, but we had things kind of under control. Now it looks like maybe we opened up too quick, and we're spiking. We're on other states' quarantine list, so if you come from Kansas into some of the other states, they make you quarantine for 2 weeks. It's really sorry to see that. I know that it's hard on the economy. That's where the CARES money comes in. I know the county today, we're talking about the possibility of making some money available for some businesses again. I know that some local businesses have already gotten a little bit of help from some of that money. Right now, though, I think we really have to look at lives, and I was really disappointed that Keisha decided not to push off the beginning of fall sports. I would have really rather seen them back that off until, as was recommended by the Keisha staff, until after Labor Day. I just hope we don't see problems with the kids at practices and stuff like we've already seen in the Major Baseball League, and we'll see how the NBA and NFL end up panning out. But they've got a lot more money and a better handle on being able to control what those athletes are doing than you're going to have at high school, and so it's going to be really hard to keep them, to make sure everybody stays healthy, and that's really the most important thing right now.
There's a question.
Okay, question.
The question is, what do you think about the foster care system, and what would you suggest to fix it? Repeat the question to them.
I had somebody ask me a question about the foster care system, how I think about it right now, and what maybe we can do to make it better. our foster care system for the past 10 years has been honestly a mess. Unfortunately, when Governor Brownback was here, he made some poor tax decisions along with the help with the legislature, and we started having a lot of our departments that began to struggle because they couldn't get the money that they needed.
This way.
Foster care was no different, and we're kind of still dealing with that. The governor's made a couple of executive orders. One of them last year was not backed up, that was going to kind of shuffle it around with who was in charge of that, what department. It was actually going to go back to a department that used to be in charge of it, and they seem to do a much more competent job of it. Unfortunately, that EO did not go through because of the legislature. She did just sign another one. She's got somebody new in charge now. They're going to start doing a grade card so we can see how the kids are, a grade card for the foster system and how they're doing with the kids that are in school. I'm trying to do a better tracking job on kids to make sure that they're not running away, and we need to find a way to get more input from the kids so that we don't put them in situations where they want to run away. We've got to make sure that we're putting them in good homes, and so that they can feel safe. We also need to look at, instead of maybe taking a kid and putting him in foster care or her in foster care and giving a foster family a bunch of money, pay them to care for the child, maybe take some of that money, give some training to the real parents, and give them some financial help that you would normally be paying to foster parents, and see if that extra money wouldn't be able to help them take better care of their child. So we need to look at a lot of different things. Again, our foster care system is not in good shape. It's better than it was. It's got to improve, and I know that the governor's trying. The legislature needs to work harder at trying to make sure that we're coming up with positive ways to change that. Waiting on other questions to come in. I will talk a little bit about one thing that's nice about tonight out cooking out is I'm not watching TV, which means I'm not watching all the terrible attack, negative campaigning ads that just drive everybody nuts, I think. I want to talk about that. I'm not a negative campaigner. First off, Miss Brewer and I have both just put out things about us, which is the way it should be. Which I want to commend her on that. However, when we get into the general, last time I had 2 different groups put out nothing but negative, over 20 mailers on me that were nothing but negative ads, and I can say the majority of them were completely false. I'm not going to do that. People who put things out for me have never done that in the past. And they know how I feel about that. So I just want you to know, if you ever would see me put something out about who I'm running against, it's going to be something to show contrast. And instead of me bashing them, making something up, I would say something about 2 years ago, Mr. Howard voted for a budget that was so bad, and this is true by the way, that only 34 representatives voted for it. That's how bad it was. It had cuts to higher ed, regular ed. It did some damage to foster care. It was just an awful, awful budget. They could only get 34 people. The leadership tried to get them to vote for it. Mr. Howard was representing the leadership when he voted for that. So if you see me put a mailer out it's going to be like, there's no way I would have voted for this budget. Mr. Howard did. So that's the kind of things. So I don't look at those as negative ads. That's just giving you information about what would have been different if I was up there and what will be different when I do get up there. You have a question?
Yes. Question is, why did you decide to run for office? Aren't you just a teacher?
Why did I decide to run for office? And somebody says, aren't you just a teacher? And honestly, that's one thing that's really kind of cool about being involved in local politics or state politics is you don't have to be a professional politician, because I'm not. I've been representing people for a long time in city council here in Hayesville. I've done that since I started in politics In 2000, Tim Norton, who was mayor of Hayesville at the time, asked me to be on planning commission in Hayesville. So that's kind of got my start. 2001, I joined council. I was on there until 2010. Then I moved inside the city and gave up my seat. I'm on city council now. I've been the representative from Ward 1 since 2013. So yes, I'm a teacher, but that's good that I want to represent other people because I'm just like the majority of people in District 98. I work paycheck to paycheck for the most part. I've got a family. I've got kids that are away. They're all grown now. But I had to just put I had to put the 4 kids through school, and my wife and I did, and so I just have a lot in common with everybody here. That's an advantage, and plus an advantage being a teacher. I know how the education system works. It is a big amount of the budget of the state, so I can kind of help. I can kind of help guide, and I know where money needs to go when it comes to that. I understand those things. I also know people who I can reach out to and get information, and that's one thing about me being up there to represent is I reach out to people to try to get information. If we have something coming up that has something to do with farming and I don't really know that much about farming, I'm going to reach out to local farmers or people that I know personally. If they don't live in District 98, there'd still be somebody I would know to get how it's going to impact them, because that's really important. Actually, with education, I have somebody from Hutch I contact. I have somebody from South Haven that I contact, and then I contact all 3 districts that I would represent in District 98. So yes, I am just a teacher and a coach, but I am just like everybody else in District 98, or most people in District 98. Expanding Medicaid. If you guys have been on my page at all, you'll know that is my when I went to the legislature in 17-18, I had 3 goals, and I completed 2 of them. The one I didn't complete was getting Medicaid expanded, and we really need to get that done. We had about 150,000 people. We're froze up. I don't know if you guys can see me right now or not. My camera looks like it might be froze up. I'm going to keep talking. 150,000 people who did not have health insurance because they fall in the Medicaid gap between the CanCare regulations and the federal regulations. And that was before COVID-19. We've had so many people that have lost their jobs and their insurance was tied to their jobs. So I know that 150,000 has probably increased significantly. And we need to get those people insurance. And I am going to stop. I got to look at something right here. Olivia, am I still on? Paige, am I still on? Can you? Tell you what, folks, I am going to end this video and start another one right after it.